So please write the letters to this address.
What you just heard is my beautiful friend Mayra telling you her experience as a mother of a young man who has autism, the same way Nicholas Godejohn suffers from autism. And this right here has been extended to February 1st, 2025. Letters for clemency. Yes, there are different types of clemency you can ask for, but write a letter asking for clemency for Nicholas Godejohn. This is the address where you can send it. If you have any questions, his official social media spokespeople have done a video called Do You Want to Help Nick? And it gives you pointers on how to outline it, how to do it, how to address it. And if you have any other questions, you can contact them. But I'm just pointing that out for those who may not have any idea of how to outline it, how to format your letter, or how to word things properly. That video is exactly what that is. So please, because February 1st, the extended deadline is coming up, but it's not too late. People can still get letters in. And some people may argue, but he deserves to be where he's at. No. I know a lot of people believes that he should be exactly where he's at, and Gypsy should be exactly where she was also. But that's just not the case. She's out, she's free, she's living her life. Missouri statute, I've showed you many times, word for word. Anybody over the age of 18 who knowingly causes the death of another person upon deliberation is the premeditated part. He is a co-conspirator and an accessory to her first-degree premeditated homicide. That is the truth. That is the fact. That is what happened. She took a plea deal, okay? He wasn't given the same courtesy and luxury that Gypsy was given. And if that's the case, that she was given a plea deal because they believed that she suffered at the hands of her mother, then Nicholas Godejohn should be hailed a hero who saved her. And he should have been given the opportunity to have a plea deal that was just as sweetheart as Gypsy's was. If it's an injustice for one, it's an injustice for all. America has 330 million citizens. Do you know how many people in the United States of America suffer with autism today, right now? Millions. Millions of people in the United States of America out of 330 million American citizens that live and are in this country right now, from just born today to just passed away today. 330 million American citizens. Millions have autism. It is widely said that it's over 1 in 36, but that is just the base statistic here for autism. If it can happen to Nicholas Godejohn, it could be your son in 10 years. It could be your son in 15 years. It could be your grandchild in 20 years being manipulated by somebody, exhausting every plan and option that they thought was available to them to do what he could to help save a person that he loved, that he thought he was doing the right thing. And it wasn't about not knowing the difference between right and wrong. In the law, it doesn't matter if somebody knows the difference between right and wrong, because they don't take into consideration mental disability, mental illness, mental health issues, or autism. And that's what has to change. Nicholas Godejohn is not a danger to society. In fact, he's more likely to be rehabilitated and reformed, even more so than Gypsy. He's never lied. He's never lied. He's always been honest and truthful, and that right there should have been incentivized with him getting the plea deal. He should have gotten the plea deal for his cooperation and his honesty. That's usually how we see those things work out, because when you solicit or hire somebody else to do the act for you, you are still guilty of first-degree premeditated. That's how it works. The person that carries out the act is your co-conspirator, is your accessory. That's how that works. People with autism are vulnerable. They are vulnerable. Doing something like this for the woman he loved after 3 years, exhausting all these other options, trying to get her out of the situation. Doing everything he can, and he did. It might not have been the right way, but he did get her out of the situation. And now she's free to live her best life ever, and to get married and divorced and to cheat and to go have a baby out of wedlock and sit here and clap back at her haters and be on social media and then be off social media, then on social media, then off of social media. Then she can do an entire TV show and an entire other TV show. She can call TMZ all the time. But you know who doesn't get that freedom and his ability to stand and tell his story is Nicholas Godejohn. And that's not fair, because an injustice for one is an injustice for all. And that collectively is the bottom line. Because when it comes to a courtroom and the due process and civil and constitutional rights and basic human rights, that's not what matters in a courtroom. What matters in a courtroom is who puts on the best show and who is believed the most. Who puts on the best show and what you can prove. It's not about facts and evidence, and it's not about the truth of what fundamentally actually occurred and what actually happened. It's about what you can prove in court and who puts on the best show and what you're able to make people believe. That's what it comes down to. So Nicholas Godejohn being offered 2 plea deals, but both of them contain serving life. Why not take your chances at a jury trial? And that's precisely, from my understanding, what happened. But does it make it just? No, it doesn't. It doesn't make it just. And he's no more danger to society than anybody who is in any active armed service and goes off to war. He's no more dangerous than any person on this planet. 8 billion people worldwide across 195 nations. Every person is capable of taking a life if they're in the right or the wrong situation or circumstances. And you can bet your bottom dollar on that's the truth. Doesn't matter if we're talking self-defense, first degree, accidental, neglect, any of it. The fact is that everybody on this planet is capable in one way or another, depending on what kind of circumstances or situation they may find themselves in. But I truly believe that. And if you really stop and think about it, here in Michigan, we have 10.4 million citizens here in the state of Michigan. We have over 19,000 unsolved homicide cases. I'm going to put this in perspective for you. This isn't even considering the other 49 states. Okay, just here in the state of Michigan, 10.4 million Michiganders live here in Michigan and in our Upper Peninsula. 10.4 million. Out of that, 19,000 unsolved homicides still in this state. Do you know what that means? That means there's over 19,000 people who perpetrated that and committed that act, who have never been brought to justice, who have never been caught, and they're out there living in their little houses. They're out there working their jobs. They're out there hugging their grandchildren and kissing them goodnight. They're out there in the world living. And you would never know. Are they a danger to society? Probably more so because they got away with it and they could do it again. Nicholas Godejohn is not a danger to society. He was wronged and he did not get a fair trial. He was used. He was discarded. He was lied to. He was lied about. He was villainized. He was demonized. And I don't have words for why people can't understand it. You can research it yourself. You can look into it yourself. But one thing we do collectively have control over is that our voices can collectively together be heard. And they will be. He was just a normal boy, playing video games, listening to his favorite music, hanging out with his cousin. If this could happen to Nick, it can happen to your son. It can happen to your grandson. It can happen to your brother, your cousin, your nephew. So please consider writing. The deadline is February 1st, 2025. There is still time to get letters in asking for clemency for Nicholas Godejohn.